Morning YouTube hikers, Ray from Hike-ALOT here with you today with 10 pieces of gear that have absolutely changed my experience on the trail for the better. Let's dive in and look at them real fast. Okay guys, right out the gate, the very first item, and this is probably going to be a bit taboo here for the hiking community. I do not take a bandana or a handkerchief. I take a Shemagh. This thing, it's going to serve all the exact same purposes for it. If you don't know what a Shemagh is, this is that military headscarf that you're probably accustomed to seeing. I didn't buy it because it's tactically cool, I promise. But this thing, they go through and you can use it for multi-purposes. I can use it for all the same purposes that I have for the bandana. But it also, I do a lot of winter camping, winter hiking, backpacking. It's super warm. That's my gaiter. It's my, around the face to keep things warmer. I sleep in it at night. I'll pull it up over here and just kind of cover everything up with it. But then at the summertime, I'll actually take it and dampen it and drape it across my chest. They're thin and arid enough that they breathe. So you dampen them, they stay cooler. It helps me for hydration. It helps me for like pre-filtering. I can use it to make a sling. I've used it to make bandages before. They just have a ton of purposes and uses that I couldn't get out of a normal, regular, just individual bandana. So I replaced my bandana with a Shemagh. Okay guys, next on the list is actually 2 items that I purchased, and that's when I started taking these things seriously. I bought a tabletop scale and a luggage scale. Actually taking that step of weighing things and being more methodical with my backpacking approach, found that I was able to really dial in what I was carrying. It meant more miles in a day. I mean, I could do bigger trails without having to overwork myself. It really took me to the next level of my packing, made things a lot easier on the trail. If you're not currently weighing your gear and dialing things in, take the step, do the hard work. Next up on my list was an item that really improved my comfort level post-hike, whether it would be sitting in camp at night or coming completely off the trail by the time I get back to the car. Good socks. Finally caved, got away from the cotton socks, moved over to all the darn tough stuff, and it made an enormous difference in just my comfort level post-hike. So if you're not currently running really good socks, get really good socks, please. Next up, the POB, the personal locator beacon. I'm running the Spot Gen 4. I wasn't worried about two-way communications and stuff like that, but I did find that a lot of times I would get off on a trail and my wife would be, spend 2, 3, 4 days without hearing from me. She's a little stressed, so she was, at home it was usually a little bit more of an issue if I was wanting to go out on the trail. Her being able to just physically see where I am and the fact that I'm still alive absolutely put every bit of that angst and concern over me being out and about without a phone signal completely to bed. Well worth the money that I spent on this thing for her to just physically be able to see that I'm moving. Made it a lot easier for me to be gone on the weekends or even longer hikes where she didn't have a signal. It was worth doing. Okay guys, next up on the list, making the move to trail runners. I have one janky ankle with a plate in it and was 100% convinced I had to have, like ankle support that would come with a normal sort of hiking boot. So I was walking in that's a Hoka Kaha, which is the boot version, and I love the boot. It was super comfortable. Always felt like I had great support. Finally caved and made the move to these guys, which I was a little bit worried about. These are actually the Altra Lone Peak 6s, but made the move just in general to more of a trail running shoe. And just the weight difference alone in going from a boot to the shoe just seems substantial. I haven't missed the ankle support at all, and just feel like I am more comfortable, more efficient on the trail with the lighter shoe than I was on the heavier shoe. So next up on the list was swapping around things with my cook sit. I was always worried about carrying something that wasn't too outrageously huge. It was just enough. So a lot of times I was running around cooking with the Toaks 500 or 550, whatever that milliliter is. I moved to the 1100, and it's inside here with my cook kit and all the stuff, my normal cooking stuff in here, and then it's just inside this little cozy. That change alone, I didn't have to worry about wrestling with sizing, and sometimes I'd get on the trail and I'd have more food than container, and that piece just made it so much easier. And it comes with a little frying pan on top of it too, which having that second little place to cook and prepare things just made trail life so much easier. Does it weigh a little more? Absolutely. Is it an enormous amount? It's not materially different. Just get a bigger cook set. Okay, so you guys are probably seeing one recurring thing that's popping up a lot is comfort on the trail. So next up on that is my sleeping comfort. I moved to the Warbonnet Ridgerunner hammock. It's a bridge hammock, so it has spreader bars that flattens things out. I sleep like I'm in a rotisserie. I roll from left shoulder to back to right shoulder to front to left shoulder to back. I spin around a lot. This thing affords me the ability to do that. Gets me up off the ground, super comfy. It lays flat, and so there's no shoulder squeeze. It's not the cheapest thing on the market, but it's definitely super comfy. Made an enormous difference in my hiking, especially the summertime hiking, which is when I use this the most. Getting up off the ground. It has an integrated bug net. For cooler weather, it does have a spindrift sleeve, which is actually already packed on here, in here, that you buy separately. But so I can colder weather camp in this and still be very comfortable. Can't recommend these things highly enough. I've absolutely been thrilled with my Ridgerunner from Warbonnet. Next on the trail, I promised the last 1 foot related. When I discovered Leuko Tape, this stuff is wonderful. I hate moleskin. I can feel it in my feet when I'm walking in it, and band-aids and stuff like that. I push them all over the place. This has been just an absolute lifesaver when it comes to blisters for me. I'll pre-tape my feet with this stuff. Normally it stays on there until long after my hike is over with. If you have not experienced and discovered Leuko Tape, check it out, because this stuff is awesome. So all right, so next up on the list, about 2 years ago, I made the move to an actual tracking watch. This is the Garmin Instinct. It's the first gen, not the second gen. It's not the solar one. Honestly, I didn't pick the solar one because I like the color of this one better. I was kind of bougie, and I didn't like the color of the solar ones. The piece that I like most about it is, in addition to being able to download maps and stuff onto the watch and have that at the ready, because I don't use the map function of it that much. But I do like pulling those in there because I can see the elevation changes and see sort of where I am on the ascents and descents. And I like the ability that it's going through and it's checking my heart rate and it's checking all that normal sort of rhythms and cycles with your body. It checks my sleeping while I'm out on the trail. It's just been really solid. The battery life on it's pretty darn good, but it's definitely changed the way I track my hikes as far as getting back and doing kind of post hike reviews of, all right, how did I perform this time versus the next time, and just sort of looking at my improvement levels from hike over hike. It's been a game changer for me. So I definitely can't stress the Garmin Instincts enough. They're awesome, and it works way better than my wife's Apple Watch. Okay, so last on our list, you don't have to look very hard. I obviously don't have a whole lot covering up here. So I am very, very, very prone to sunburn and all that fun stuff, and so I'm constantly in a hat if I'm outside. I'm using sunglasses and I'm in a hat. I don't know how many hats I went through repeatedly, trying ball caps and trucker hats and wide brim hats, smaller hats, and it just if I would find one that I liked, I'd usually end up tearing it up. They just didn't hold up, and then I discovered the Tilley Hats. I have a couple of them. This is one I normally wear during the wintertime. It doesn't breathe quite so well during the summertime. Tilley's, I absolutely love these things. They have an awesome warranty on them. These are my summertime hats. They're vented up across the top here, so they're a little bit cooler on the trail. You won't catch me on the trail without one of their hats on at this point. The brims are wide enough that they give me plenty of shade coverage for my face. I'm not getting sunburned, especially across the back of my neck. But then at the same time, they're not just huge, hulking, big, long, wide brimmed hats that are hitting the back of my backpack either. It's a wide brimmed hat, but it's not super wide. And they're nice and flexible. They're crushable. They kind of go back into the shape. They hold the shape well. The warranty's great on them. They're not the cheapest things in the world, but kind of like the socks. Buy once, cry once, get it over with. Okay, guys, hope you found that useful, and maybe you picked up a couple of these that help your experience on the trail next time you're out there. And if you're out there right now, just remember, as always, left foot, right foot, repeat. We'll see you on the trail soon.